Welcome to Lake Viewing. This is Wi-Fi. Today I'm coming from Fort Railway Station because of this book. And this is Narrow Gauge Railways of Ceylon by Rasika Vikramanayaka. Why I chose this book? I'll tell you why. The first thing is about the railway. Now, if you see, the railway is going back all the way to 1845. That is when the railway company was established, but it was not even registered in Sri Lanka. It was registered in London, and then the first train was commissioned in 1864, 27th of December, from Fort Ambepusar. That's only about 54 kilometers from point A to point B, but it was a tremendously difficult task to construct that railway network, is because Sri Lankan terrain is extremely difficult. And this book speaks about the beginning of railway. So that's in 1864, and now we are in 2024. We're still using it. That's extraordinary. Number two, why it was introduced. I mean, we are using railway primarily for transportation now, but those days it was because of tea. The tea was introduced in 1839, but it was not commercial at that point because the transportation. From Kandy to Colombo, moving tea by land route took about 12 days. And that was a huge obstacle for the tea planters as well as people who are commercially promoting across. So they wanted a faster transportation method, and that's where the trains came into play. It was not easy, but they had to carve out step by step stations and plot by plots. Those days when they started, it was coffee which was so popular, but tea took over eventually. Now Sri Lanka is known for tea, but how it's been promoted from upcountry to Colombo is through this railway network. Number three, the book is a limited edition. There's only 500 copies out there, and this is 388th copy. So if you're a collector and if you're interested on collecting limited edition books, then this should be in your shelf. Number four, Rasika Vikramanayaka. Now, if you see Rasika, he's a chartered architect by profession, but he's also an enthusiast when it comes to locomotive, railway, and the heritage of Sri Lankan railway. So he has done ample amount of research. He has gone through immense amount of material which are not available widely for public, but he has managed to go through each and every details, put the maps together, the train timetables together, and also certain images. It's very difficult and rare, and it was during the construction of those stations and the railway network. So he has put those materials into one book. I think that's a lot of work to be valued. And the fifth one is the illustration. As you can see, the maps. If you are actually looking at railway network now, it's very complex and it has got lots of routes and lines added. But back then, it was very simple and straightforward. It was only connecting few towns, few key towns, especially from upcountry to Colombo. So the maps are here, and it's one of the rarest maps you can find out there. And then on top of it, they've got a detailed version of upgraded lines. Okay, how many of you remember there was a movie in 1957, The Bridge on the River Kwai? Don't know whether you remember, but there was a iconic bridge scene on that where the bridge is getting blasted by explosive, and if you see, that is a bridge. That is during the construction of that bridge. So what they've done is, since they can't access it through vehicles, they've used elephants to move some of the material because it was so difficult to get that constructed. And then that's the blast. If I take this entire book, they have color balanced the photograph really well. I came from Fort Railway Station today that I told you, but you should also see how it was back then. So those are the key things I like about this book, and if you like, you can always buy this from Lake Viewing. That's Wi-Fi for you.